Hi, this is Brian again, and it's been a couple, it's been at least a week since I last posted. This episode's going to be about Haslan. One of the reasons it was taking me a long time to do this one is that I never used Haslan. I didn't really. It never seemed like a horror setting for me, and it seems even less so now. Um, I know they're trying to do dark fantasy, and it just doesn't. It doesn't seem like really that scary, but it never did to me. So it's like I got nothing on this one. It's not something I would use, so it's something I'm not really interested in. That being said, let's talk about bringing uh, Haslan into 5th edition. We will be, of course, looking at this, and we will be looking at this, and of course, this, as Haslick and Haslan has been in every edition of Dungeon and Dragons, of Ravenloft, excuse me. He is a Red Wizard of Thay, um, and the original history had him up against. It's very similar to what they have in the book. There's just slight changes. Um, Originally talked about how all his tattoos were like symbols of femininity, because there was a subtext that he was gay, and then later on, by 3rd edition, they basically said, yeah, he was gay, and he had this thing about how he was humiliated, and they tattooed these things on him, feminine tattoos on his head where he could hide it, and that his humiliation would keep him from sleeping, which they talk about in the book in 5th edition too. Um, Maybe some of that background might be considered problematic now, so maybe they kind of reeled back on that a little bit. Again, in 5th edition, he's still gay. I originally thought when I first saw this that they took away him being gay and then made Mordenheim gay for some reason, but no, he's still gay in this. Interestingly enough, his rival was originally female, and he, according to 3rd edition, he was interested in his rival's lover, and she got her lover to seduce Haslick, and so they set him up. And then said that he forced himself on her lover. Yeah, it's a kind of a weird thing. He did get vengeance. So the symbols weren't gold; they were regular tattoos, and they didn't say traitor. They were symbols of femininity. But whatever. I mean, I get why they might have went away from that. One of the other things is, if you look at Haslick, he does not look at all. I mean, I'm using the one of the original pictures of him as the going to be the thumbnail, but he was an old man. He's like he starts out in his 60s, and then he ages to maybe being in his 70s or 80s by the time 3rd edition comes around. Yeah, so he is extremely old. Here's the picture of him from the original. That's gone to go. Who's now female? 1 second. There he is. Yeah, there he is. And he's kind of purplish in the new picture, but I guess that's just a shading choice. He looks much younger. He looks like he might be He looks younger than I am, and I'm in my 40s, so it looks like he could be in his 30s now. He's missing his goatee, which was he pretty much had throughout the whole thing. Um, but that doesn't take away from the prior plots, because in third edition he did not want to go and become a lich, right? He wanted to, but he didn't want to die either, and he wanted to escape. So what I think would probably be best is to say that he had his plan. Now his plan, he had an apprentice who was female, who he actually treated like a daughter, and I think it even said that he cared about her like a daughter. Again, he's not interested in women. And but at the same time, he was making plans to transfer his consciousness into her instead, which is pretty awful, and a big betrayal. And then she doesn't appear in 5th edition. So what I would say is that it failed. His plot to do that failed, and went over, and he ended up going into another person, and then maybe a third apprentice or something like that. And so that's why his appearance has changed. Maybe that's why his tattoos changed. Maybe it is a traitor because he betrayed his apprentice that he treated like a daughter. I think that will work. The other thing is the reason Hazlan might be deteriorating could simply be that Haslick has figured out that maybe to escape, maybe he learned this from seeing what Aslan has done in Darkon, by destroying the land. And if he destroys the land, he can escape. I think that's a reasonable explanation for both of those. Again, changing things too much in here, I don't have really anything into this particular one. I don't really care about Aslan or Haslick very much. I don't care. I don't find it very frightening or really horror. I think if you took the way they have it right now and put it in just a regular Dungeons and Dragons thing, it's not gonna, people aren't gonna think, oh, this is a horror. They might just think it's just a regular thing. So it's more fantasy than even dark fantasy, but whatever, man. It's not worth really complaining about, because again, I don't care. If you want to look at some dark fantasy, the Dresden novels by Jim Butcher would be really good, because he's able to put horror and fantasies together really well. It's also urban fantasy. There were these books. God, I can't remember what the name of the author was. It was like she was British. One second. Let me see if I can look these up. Well, I can't find it, so I guess it doesn't matter. I'm going to see if I can actually splice these together into one video, because I have no idea how to edit, as you may well know if you watch these. All right. Ikath is next, and I'm not going to go there. I actually am perfectly fine with what they did with Ikath. I don't think it goes away from the original stuff. I mean, the original stuff, it was a very small realm, and they just have expanded on it. It's perfectly fine. And then we're going to go to, after that, we'll go to the new India-inspired realm, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, because I am very disappointed on how they did that. But we'll talk about it. Okay. Until next time.